Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here. Today I am kayaking, as you can see. I've been trying some wildlife photography here. I've already had some pretty decent success seeing I think a red-eared slider or one of those midland painted turtles, and a great blue heron as well. So I got some images and a little bit of video of that as well. And yeah, I just thought it'd be a nice day out. Here it is the first day of summer, the summer solstice, and it's a great time of year to paddle out and get on the water and to really just see a whole different perspective when it comes to wildlife photography, and especially birds in my case. But a few tips here. I have my Tamron 150 to 600 here. It's got a camera strap. I took off the tripod collar because that just added extra bulk and weight. And obviously I'm not going to be mounting on a tripod. I don't really use tripods really with kayaks. I guess you could, but I feel like it'd be just so cumbersome, as you can see right now as I'm swaying and about ready to hit this driftwood. But anyways, yeah, so I got that, and I put it on a camera strap, so you can put it around your neck, so that way it's at least a little bit more secure. Or you can just hand hold it, or just like I am right now, just laying it on my lap here. Of course got some water with me, and a life jacket, just in case, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty low tech, not too much gear. It can be as much or as little as you really need. And no binoculars, just because you can, of course, but I think this is one scenario where it just kind of gets in the way of trying to like juggle between the camera and the bins, and kind of just becomes a whole mess or whatever. So I don't find them super necessary, because you just, as you can tell, just move around a whole lot with the water itself, depending on if you're on a river, or in my case on this lake here, which is a pretty calm day. There's basically little to no wind. It's pretty non-existent. So fortunately I'm not moving around too much, I guess. And yeah, usually for camera settings, at least right now it's kind of like mostly sunny. There's some clouds in the sky, but that kind of helps diffuse the light. But other than that, not too much else with that. And just using a high shutter speed, and since I'm hand holding it, using image stabilization if I can, which luckily this lens has that, and the camera. And yeah, just kind of sometimes I'll even prop it down on my lap or on my leg, or on the edge of the kayak to get a lower perspective at least with it. Or sometimes I'll just shoot it from like straight up here where I'm sitting from up here, because you do really get some nice perspectives, I think, with it. So I got a little bit more of this lake to check out. This is kind of my first time doing it, at least at this particular location. I've done kayaking and photography before in the past. I'll throw some images up here. In particular, I've been to Michigan, get some common loons on a lake, and just a few other times I've tried this out, but I'm still relatively new to the whole experience, and it's something I want to explore more here in the future, at least. And of course, given that it's right now at least June, and it's pretty hot and sunny, get some sun protection. So I have one of these sun hoodies on, a hat, sunglasses, of course. In my case, they're prescription, and yeah, just checking out. I've been mostly along the edge. There's definitely some swallows out in the middle, but just checking out the edges of the trees here and just seeing what's around. I feel like that's where, in the case of like these branches right here, you might get some perching birds, some wading birds, that is, like some herons or maybe egrets or cormorants, you never know. Or you may get some turtles that are out here sunning for the day. And that's actually where I got these the heron and stuff as well. There's also quite a bit of dragonflies and damselflies around, so if you're patient enough to pre-focus maybe and wait for them to perch on a particular spot, you may get lucky with that as well. But yeah, there's just a few tips, I guess, and like I said, I'm pretty new to it, and so let's go ahead and keep paddling here and see what we get for the day here. So overall, pretty successful, I'd say. It's interesting, you know, just getting up close, but not super close at least, to some of these birds, just, you know, as they are perched along this lake here. So far, one of my targets, I guess, for the day, even though I kind of went into this with no expectations, one of my targets was to get the belted kingfisher, and I did get one. I didn't really get the photos quite like pin sharp in focus. You know, shooting pretty wide open at 7.1. I believe I did about, I think it was 1,000th of a second, and ISO probably in the under, you know, 400 or something like that, just because of how bright and sunny it is right now here in the mid to late morning. But it had like some kind of fish in its mouth, and that flew away. As everyone knows, you know, belted kingfishers are pretty skittish, overall at least, and so it was all right. I mean, yeah, the photos are, if they were in focus, it'd be really cool, but you know, regardless, it's just whatever. Now, other than that, there's been, if you see behind me here, this driftwood and this fallen tree, there's been tons of swallows perched on it. Mostly northern rough-winged swallows, although I have seen a barn swallow as well, just one of them at least perched on it. And there's a couple more turtles that are throughout this same kind of like driftwood down here. It's been pretty cool. And there's another heron that just actually flew away back to the other side. I'm not sure if that's the same one that I had earlier, but yeah, pretty cool to get that also. And let's see what else. Quite a bit of songbirds, and heard a woodpecker drumming as well in these trees over here. Just heard a little bit ago a summer tanager calling up there. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. Yeah, just hearing a lot of bird song, trying to capture what's, you know, around here, and these swallows that keep perching behind me on this driftwood here. But yeah, it's overall been pretty successful, I'd say. It's been pretty, you know, fun to see them in this perspective. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and turn back around now. This is just a little short video here, because, you know, I'm at pretty much the end of the lake here. It looks like it gets into some more still water, you know, it's like swampy area. Looks like there's a lot of duckweed and stuff, and there's signs coming out of the water that say, I think it says no watercraft, but anyways, or I might photograph these a few more, but we'll see. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. One thing that's been pretty difficult so far is just maintaining focus. And I don't mean that metaphorically, as in myself, but literally the camera. It's just, you know, as you're just every little micro movement of the kayak and stuff, I mean, you have to basically, like I'm shooting an Al Servo, which is at least Canon's continuous focusing motor mode. And so that allows me to just depress the back button or the shutter button if you choose to focus and pre-focus and shoot that way. And I've been having to do that pretty much constantly, like holding that in tandem with the shutter button itself, just because of, you know, every movement, man. And it's just like, even the slightest millisecond or, you know, half a second, it's just making it real difficult, and your photo can go from being tack sharp to just completely out of focus, just like that. So it's kind of nice when I'm at the edge of the lake here, and there is, like, for example, with the swallows, the driftwood there, just allows me to bump up against it and use it kind of like as an anchor or a buffer, so to speak. And it allows the kayak to stop moving for a moment, as long as I can get position or angle to a good spot, shooting position, that works in conjunction with the light behind me, or behind me as it is now. But obviously I want to shoot front light, front lit with these subjects for the most part. I'm not really looking to do any silhouettes, just because that's not really something I do often, and it's not really, I guess, my style. But you know, anyways, so that's just one thing to consider with doing this. And other than that, yeah, just the way the angle of the light and stuff works together with this, which, of course, anything with photography, it's all about the light, and how you choose to interpret or manipulate it. Alrighty guys, it's been very nice, actually, very productive day out here on the lake. Since I've last talked to you, I've had a eastern kingbird, got some photos. It's kind of way up high, perched up high, but it gave me a little opportunity for a few, 30 seconds or so to fire off a couple shots. And then I really think the highlight and the really big experience and spectacle was this osprey. I was making my way back to the start of the lake where the kayak launch is, and there was this osprey just circling around, and I assumed it was looking down into the water for fish and a good spot to catch one. So it did that for a couple minutes. I got a bunch of shots, as best as I could of it moving around in circles, making its rounds around the lake, and then it finally dove down into the water, through the water, and caught a fish, and then flew back up. I didn't quite get the full sequence of photos of the moment of it diving down, but I've seen it before. I've seen osprey before do that kind of thing, where they dive into the water and catch a fish. It's just such a cool experience to see that. So I did get some photos of it just flying around beforehand, and then a couple photos of it taking off afterwards with a fish in its talons. So that was very cool. And besides that, I've seen about a dozen mallard ducks. I think they're all, most of them at least, are juveniles, because they're all still forming like a flock, so to speak, and swimming away. Seen a couple herons, red-winged blackbirds, a couple of hawks, and I'm looking at something right now way up there. It's pretty big. I think it's a turkey vulture, I'm pretty sure, but I would highly recommend that if you were wanting to do kayaks and photography, check out some rentals in your area, or if you're like me, just get a nice budget one like this. Lifetime is the brand. I think it was about $250 maybe for this kayak. It's a little 8-foot kayak, so pretty small. Fits in my car, just kind of diagonally slid into the back, goes all the way to the front dashboard of the car. If you want to see, oh, he's flying away. There you go. I guess I wasn't being that loud, but maybe I was. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll catch you in the next video.